This
for
conference will now be recorded.
yeah, and today we'll start with the as per the course syllabus. We'll start with the introduction of Silk.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just share my screen. Is it? I think it is visible now. Is it visible?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. As a performance testing tool, Silk Performer is into market since a long time. Okay, this is a commercial tool. Okay, it is quite similar to HP LoadRunner in terms of UI and its several implementation, and with respect to its other products as compared to the HP LoadRunner tools family. Okay, so since you are quite familiar with the LoadRunner, so that's why I try to correlate this with the LR so that you can easily visualize Silk as a product. Okay, so initially Silk Performer was developed. It was developed by Borland, and then it got acquired by Micro Focus, and now it is maintained by Micro Focus. Okay, so when Silk it has versions like after Silk 10. I mean, it started with some Silk 6. After that, it went on upgrading per year. And like when I was using in 2015, I was started working on with Silk 15. And after that, Silk 16 came, Silk 16.5, Silk 17, Silk 17.5, and so on. The upgrades with the Silk Performer came into the market. Okay, in the like earlier, it was quite popular tool as it was giving a neck to neck. It was neck to neck with the LoadRunner since due to its various facilities. But later on, it has some stability issues when we were using Silk 16 and some Silk 17 versions. It was giving some stability issues during execution. So that's why that was a period when it lost its popularity. But later on, again with its after Silk 19.5, when there were like couple of several modifications in it, and after the hot fixes, it again gained the proper popularity, and it started giving the best of its performance. Okay. And so it is quite similar to the other enterprise tool, and it supports various protocols which is used for server-side performance testing, as well as it has its Silk Performer and Silk in there are several other products in the Silk family. So those are used for several other. I mean, for test management, they have certain products for test management. For requirement management, they have a couple of products. For automation testing, they have Silk Test. For performance testing, we have the Silk Performer. And test management, we have Silk Central. For integration, we have Micro Focus Connect. Okay, so these are the several products which falls under the Silk Silk Performer group of tools. Okay. So basically, Silk Performer now it supports like all modern applications which are following Web 2.0 applications, as well as it also supports streaming based applications as well. It has wide variety to support on SAPGUI applications. Uh,
Yeah, yes, go ahead, Harish.
so, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So this was the quite brief about the tool and its history. So how it got developed and got popular, and first it was owned by Borland and then purchased by Microfocus and all. So now for licensing and support, it is completely Microfocus. All right, from 2009 onwards. Okay. So I'll try to now I'll list out the Silk Performer components.
Just one second, one question. Borland or Microfocus, they are different companies or same company?
They are different companies. So it was like when initially the development was started of Silk, it was started with CQ Technologies. Okay, and then later on, with the short period of time, it got acquired by Borland, and then now it is with Microfocus.
Okay.
So if you are aware, like now HP LoadRunner is also it is I mean the licensing and support part is now comes under Microfocus. So whatever the service tickets or support tickets we raise, so that falls under Microfocus now. Yeah. So we'll see the Silk Performer components now. So basically, it is divided into 4 parts. Okay. For scripting, we have Silk Performer Workbench. For replay, we have Log Explorer. For running a load test, I mean for scripting and running a load test is carried out with the Silk Performer Workbench itself. For monitoring, we have Silk Performer Workbench Monitor. And for results and analysis, we have Silk Performance. Okay, and as I said, it has like it for other test management, it has Silk Central, it has cloud support. So these are the components from the standalone Silk Performer. Okay, so coming over to the its installation part. So basically, before installation, there is no such prerequisite required for installation of the Silk Performer tool. Okay, so whatever components it requires, it basically has a whole package into its setup, so which it extracts and install on its own. But it's good to have Java installed in the system, because sometimes if we replay something and so it shows like JavaScript error, it doesn't maybe sometimes it doesn't render the web page. So for that matter, it is recommended to have Java installed within the system. Okay, and for it has its trial version. So basically it has its trial version or evaluation version, which gives you 45 days access. This is for execution with 10 users. All right, and it's a commercial version. You can upgrade to the commercial one with the support, where you can download, where you can ask for the purchase the license, and you can go to unlimited load. You can put unlimited load from the tool. Okay, it doesn't have any restrictions as such. It gives on premises, on-prem, as well as cloud cloud infrastructure for load testing. Okay, then now, well, so as a prerequisite, nothing would be required, and in order to learn Silk Performer, so also if you have coding knowledge of some programming like Java, that is good. And even if you don't have, still you can get started with Silk. Eventually, you can understand the benchmark description language, and you can even have custom coding done with it. So in order to download the community edition, you can simply Google like download on the so it will redirect you to the Micro Focus site, where so on the official website you can get the free or the trial version of Silk. So you just need to register over here. You have to specify your email ID. You can specify your own email ID as well. I mean, it's not necessary to have company email ID. So once you click on try now, so it will share the link. It will share the link on your email ID. I'll specify the steps to download free version. Okay. Then you will receive the link from Micro Focus. Okay, to download the software, then you can click on the link. and start downloading. Okay. So after you download, so you will get so this, since this is 25 version 20.5, so you will get the latest file called with the name Silk Performer 205.exe. Okay. While during installation, just you need to install it with the administrator privileges in order to so that it gets installed properly. Otherwise, with the different user, what happens is certain registry level challenges can be faced later on. It might not hook properly, like all of its components. So it is recommended to install it with the admin user or run it as an administrator. So since I have already installed it and it is present in my system, I'll walk through the installation video. So these are the steps uh, which you can see. I mean, the video is also visible, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So this is the step-by-step installation where you need to go through this steps. Like it will first of all will check for your platform on which you are trying to install Silk Performer. So for that, you of course, if you are installing it on Windows and Windows 8.1 onwards, operating system is required. At least 8 GB of RAM is required. For the 4 GB is required, but it is recommended to have more than that, so that all of its components will work smoothly. And I mean, if we are opening like multiple sessions or 2 to 3 components at the same time, it should not lag or something for that. It is recommended to have 8 GB of RAM for the installation. And for operating system wise, it needs to be a later version than 8.1. And if you have like Windows Server, then 2012 and and above that. Okay. So here, as you can see, there are like several different components available. Okay. So we will go with the first option, where it is saying that it is enterprise class load and stress testing tool with unlimited scalability and multiple application environments. So basically, it has all components in it. So as per your yesterday's question, okay, answering to that, so here is the answer. Okay, so if you have master slave configuration, and on the slave you need not have to install all setup, just agent file. If it is installed on the slave machine, still it will work. It's just that the agent process should be running on the slave machine. Okay. Then we'll go next. Then we have Silk Performer. We'll select the first option. Okay. Basically, it takes some time for the installation. So I have just fast forwarded it. And once the installation is done, it will, okay. Yeah, once the installation is done, here if you have the options to select, like whether you want to go for the evaluation version and the trial version, or with the licensed one. Okay, if you have already purchased the license, then you can go with the license version, where the next step would be you will have to specify the license file path, and then it will point. Or if you have the license on the server, then you will have to point you will have to point your system to that particular server with necessary port opening done, and then the license version would be installed. Okay, so here for training purpose, we'll select the evaluation one and we'll go ahead with it. So it is recommended to restart the system after the installation, and you can do it on your own later, or after the installation gets completed. It will, if you selecting this option, it will restart your system immediately. And well, once you click on done, the installation is done. So it's quite simple. Just you just need to click next with the default options set, and the installation would be done. It's not any tedious task, and after that you need not have to even uh, well, okay, after that you need not have to even set any environment variables or do any extra setup for the configuration. After once the installation is done, you would be able to see this icon on the desktop to open Silk Performer. Okay, so that's all we have with the installation part. So during installation, if you have noticed, like by default it gets installed into C drive, but and it is recommended to get installed it within the C drive itself. But if you don't have space over there, you can of course install it in some other space in the other drives as well. So now we'll see the again overview of the components mentioned over here. Like it has basically several other, it basically includes several other components as well. I mean, for licensing, you again have the license server utility. Okay, but these are the main four components with which we would be dealing with, and which would be playing a major role in the performance testing with respect to the considering the performance testing lifecycle. Okay. So until this point, any questions or anything?
No, it's fine.
Cool. So now we'll give you the tool overview. Okay. So you just need to double click on the icon to invoke Silk Performer. So here it shows, since I had installed it yesterday, so one day has been gone. So it is showing me that 44 days are remaining, and here you can see the number of users licensed. Okay, and so let me show you the other components as well. So you can in the search bar also you can type it for like Silk Performer. So you can just type on Silk, and the first option comes as the Workbench. So this is where you can start. So this is the component which is used for scripting. Okay. Then we have Silk Performance Explorer, which is the fourth component here, which is used for results and analysis. Then for TrueLog, the component which shows the try script is the TrueLog Explorer. So it looks something like this. Performance Explorer. So TrueLog Explorer something look like this, and once we have the script running, we would be able to see running it here. Okay, and if you already have some already previously run script, then you can of course go to File and add TrueLog, and you can if you already have the session record, the TrueLog file with you, you can still view the same from here. Okay. This is Silk Performance Explorer again, which is used for analysis purpose. And Silk Performer Monitor, so that is basically invoked by during the execution. So if there's a checkbox, if you check that checkbox, then only it will be invoked during the execution. Okay, so as of now, so I have given you the overview on these four main components. I'll also show you the license utility, because again in the once you upgrade to the license version, so this part will come into picture where if you have this license installed on the server, so you will have to point the system to the server, check the connection, and once the connection is established, you can point out to the license part. I'll close this now, and we'll see the Workbench in more detail.
One question, can we open all these three components separately here, Explorer, TrueLog, and for result verification? You open three one by one, right?
Silk Performance Explorer, Silk Performer Workbench, and TrueLog Explorer. Yes, that's what we had done. Like we had opened it separately.
How you do that? Once more.
Yeah. Just need to type true or Silk TrueLog Explorer, and you would be able to open it from here.
Oh.
Right.
Okay. And then after that, this.
And in fact, you can open multiple. Yeah, in fact, you can have multiple sessions opened of the same component. Okay, just similar to Jmeter.
Okay, for opening the Workbench.
Yeah, in fact, Workbench as well. But the second version of Workbench would be read only.
Okay.
Well, it's not opening up. Yes, we would be able to open. Now it's not opening up. And here we go to the file explore all programs, then Silk folder here also. Within microfocus, within Silk Performer 20.5, here also you can see the components and various other components as well. Okay.
Okay.
So from here also you can invoke the same. Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically on startup, it will show you the startup page, and this so this window will come out. Only this project which you are able to see here, so that won't be present when we open Silk for the first time. Okay. Only the startup page would come, and it will ask us to create a project. I mean, these options would be shown, and nothing would come under project. And after that, once we create projects, so whatever recent projects we have, so those we would be able to see over under this list. Okay, and so here just it shows like what are the new features in Silk 20.5, and it provides the documentation over here. Uh, it has resources, it has links, hyperlinks to where it redirects to the community section and the help section. Okay, so it has basically like two panes. So this is the project explorer where has by default it has these three sections. Okay, so the first one is project, where it shows us the project and whatever the files, and this is the default structure. Okay, it has profile in which we have profile settings. Under capture file, we would be able to see the capture, the pcap files in this section. In scripts, we have bdf scripts. Okay, and include files, so whatever the library files are required, error files, so those would be present over here, and those would be once we record the scenario, after that you would be able to see those over here. Explicitly, we did not have to import it from anywhere. Those would be present after the recording. All right. Yeah. So in data files, we have the input files, basically. So whatever parameterization we do from the CSV file, so those files would be present under data file section. Under agents section, we would be able to see the number of agents list over here. So for now, it's since it's just localhost, as we have not connected to any other system, so it is just showing the localhost. So under workload section, we have various workloads where we can, and here we can create various workloads and during the workload designing with and at one time we can mark one workload as an active workload, and so that will be considered during the execution. And there's a performance level and other items. Okay, so this is the project review section, and the project is the first component of inside results. The recent transcript, we would be able to see the recent transcript over here. Even if you close the transcript summary page, still you would be able to get the transcript loaded from here, and this will show the recent load test as well. Okay, the last load test which you ran from your system. Under active scripts, it will show the number of active scripts. So as of now, we don't have anything over there, so it's showing as no active scripts. And again, this is the same. We have workflow bar. There's some shortcuts are present over here to make our work easy. We have like outline project will once if we click on outline project, it will create a new project for us, and we can like start from the scratch from here. Model script will this button will enable us to start the recording. The transcript with transcript we will be able to run our script with user defined types. Again, we can add the multiple scripts over here, and the other options are like for now time being they are disabled, but once we open the script and scenario, then accordingly they would be enabled. Okay, and these are some of the shortcuts present present in this ribbon, and by default it has like with any other enterprise tool, it gives several other options as well. And there are like a couple of windows as well. I mean, the monitor script window and the output window. But currently, you won't be able to see it over here since only two panes you are able to see, because since we haven't executed anything or compiled any script. So that's why you are not able to see the output window. But if you open the script and execute it, then the monitor window will come up where you can see the actual progress of the test execution or the try script execution. Okay, so that was about the tool overview. So far so good. Any questions on this part?
This code page, how it comes as 1252? What is this? Can you explain this page?
Which one?
This page, scripting, workbench scripting.
This is the post login.pdf, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I clicked on this under script. I clicked on this, so that's why it rendered.
No, how the syntax is written here? Can you explain? This
Yeah,
code
this
page one
syntax.
down. Yeah, this one.
Mhm.
How they have written the DC user. Every script will become in this form.
Yeah, the script will come in this form only. So by default, let me show you. Let me add a plain script, and this is the basically the format of any script, any web-based script. Okay. So by default, it gives us some comments in this section. So in like in 20.5, you are able to see the number lines here and this collapsing section. Okay, so it wasn't present earlier in earlier versions. So now the line numbers and this collapse section is there, but the script format is same right from its right from the beginning. So when when we'll start the actual recording, and at that time I'll show you. I mean, I'll try to explain you the various different components of the script of the PDF file, and where we actually work on. Fine. Okay, and one more important thing is the help section. So you have uh, uh, when we install the Silk Performer whole package, we have the online help, I mean offline help with us. If you go to content, so here you will be able to see in the description of every components. Okay, in search, if you have some functions to search, you can search over here or in the index section. By in the contents, it will show the installation guide and the step-by-step process as well. Okay, right from get started. So it is like a detailed documentation is available in the help section. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll cover second important topic today as well. So which would be script recording in Silk Performer. So we'll create a new fresh project by clicking on new project. So this pop-up has come like since we have done changes in this project. So basically we have added this plain script one. So that's why it is asking that whether you want to save changes or you want to discard it. So for now we'll say yes and we'll save the changes. Yeah. Well, before that, just let me tell you that okay, scripting process. I mean, scripting, testing, execution process in this Silk Perform with respect to Silk Performer. So basically, we need to the steps would be we will have to record the script for web-based application. From browser. Then we have script enhancement. Then we'll in script enhancement we'll do parameterization and correlation. And then we will verify the script is working fine or not with the try script. And once it runs fine with the multiple users and with multiple test data, we will we will execute a baseline in this. So it gives a feature of baselining, where if you have multiple scripts under your okay. So as you in the earlier section we saw like we had two scripts. Okay, the one which I had already recorded, and the second one was the plain one.pdf, right? So whatever number of scripts which are present in the under the project section. So what is done in baseline is in baseline. So all those scripts are executed with single user and with a single iteration. I mean, whatever iteration you specify in the main section. So basically, we generally keep it one. So in baseline, what happens is whatever scripts are present, so those all scripts would be invoked with single user. And then we'll design workload model and perform execution. Monitor the test, and at the end we'll analyze the result or extract the result in the result and reports from Silk Performance Explorer. Okay, so once we create on a new project, so by default this window will come up. So here you would be able to see the various protocol support by Silk. So here we need to specify the project name. So this is the logical container, basically, which has all the scripts or scenarios under it. So based on your naming conventions, whatever followed at, this name we can put anything. It's just that special characters would not be allowed. So apart from that, keeping the naming convention, we can name it as a project solution. Like since we would be doing for our first script with the ShopIt application, so I'll name it as a ShopIt. So in description section, we can specify the description of this project if necessary. And by default it will select the web business transaction HTTP/HTML. By default, since we are recording the scenario which follows HTTP/HTML protocol. But apart from that, if we are recording with some other application, if it is Ajax or with some other Flex protocol or Silverlight application, then we can select the protocol accordingly. So under web browser, we have these many options, and these are the variety of protocol support that Silk Performer has. Okay, in fact, it also has GUI testing or similar to click and run. I mean to say similar to to client of LoadRunner. So once we specify the project name, since underscore is not allowed, or underscore is allowed, but we haven't selected the protocol, so that's why next button wasn't enabled. So after that, we'll click on next. Then the recording workflow model, I mean, this wizard will open, but for now, I'll close this and we can re-invoke this, or like we have two options. We can straight away start the recording from here, or we can again invoke this page and again start the recording. But for now, it is will cancel it, and when we create a fresh project, it is always recommended to cancel the recording wizard, as before that we do some profile settings before recording which needs to be done. So for that we have to cancel it. So first I'll show you the application which we will record for demonstration. So again, this is application by Borland people only. So on this application, you can, you can use this application for recording and execution as well. We can simulate load test on this application. So basically, this is a kind of e-commerce application where you can purchase some products available or shown or listed over here. So this is the demo homepage of the application. We'll click on join experience. Then here it will show the name. Then I'm just giving you the walkthrough of the application. So these steps will follow in during the recording of an application. Okay, so it gives several different options and research products checkout. So we'll go to products where it has like these many products. We can select any product. So for now we'll go with the boots one. We'll so it will show the number of products in stock, its price, its name over here. We'll add it to basket. We'll go back to menu, and for now we'll check out. In checkout, it will ask us to it will show the summary in short, and if we need to add some more products, it will give the option to back to menu, or else we can simply click on continue. Here we need to specify our details, and after that, once we click on buy now, the product will be so the product we will get will be redirected to the next page, where it will show. Here we can specify the dummy information. City as Maha. So this is the dummy data. It doesn't have any validation. We can specify anything over here. And click on buy now. So this is the acknowledgement page which will show. And once we click on proceed, it will redirect us to this page and ask us to, like, if we want to continue, it will ask us to give the start again page. So if we want to verify that okay, whether we actually purchase the product, so we can see it again. We can go, we can continue, and in the product section, if we go, so here we will be able to see. So earlier it was 53, so now it would reduce and come down to 52. Okay. Yeah, so this was just an application overview before we start actual recording the application. So what I'll do is I'll just make note of this URL over here. So Christian, before we start actual recording, we need to do some profile settings.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'll show you what mandatory settings, or what are the key settings which we need to look into before we, what are the options we have in profile settings, and what are like minimum settings with which we can go ahead.
Yeah.
So in profile section, so basically by default it will show like a record and replay, and by default it will be pointed to replay. So whatever current settings we are seeing over here, so those are replay settings. But since we are recording the application, so we have to click on record, and under record section you will have like same options would be present, but based on based on the type, whether it is record or replay. Uh, Based on the type, it will be the options will be enabled or disabled. So those like, and some options are applicable for recording mode, whereas some are applicable for replay mode.
Okay.
So in recording we have first option as the script. So here we have like several options in general, protocol, Java, and async detection. So for HTTP HTML protocol, like this Java and async detection, so these are Java section is not even, we don't have to look into it. In general section is common for like most of the protocols. So here it will ask us like during the script generation, what all details we uh, want to be present in the script. So whether the comments needs to be present or commented functions, like some of the functions, redirection functions and cookie functions, it sometimes it comment out those part, and if we disable these checkboxes, then we won't be able to see those in the script, and we might miss it. So in order to do, we generally, it is like recommended that we check this checkboxes, like first two checkboxes, and the third one is like include think time. So during recording, whatever the pauses we take, like sometimes to, in this scenario, before entering our name, we wait for some time, or before filling up that form, which actually redirects us to after the checkout page. Okay, so for the think time, it will record think time, whatever is taken during the recording. But again, we disable this option. Okay, since we don't want that think time to come, because later on we can insert the think time function and put a custom think time of as per our requirement. So it is recommended to disable this include think time option. Then here you can specify max line length. It has in the script namespace. Then we have the password. Here with this checkbox, if we are entering any password, so that would be taken here. That would be encrypted in the script if we have checked this checkbox. Then now, since recent few releases of Silk Performer, this auto-generate toolbox section has come up. So earlier it wasn't present. Okay, so due to this, now whatever actions you take, you have performed during the recording, it will generate function for that, and that would be present in our script, and even in the true log. At the time of the replay, you would be able to see the actual snaps during the replay. Of the recorded file in the true from the true log file section.
Okay. It is nothing but a runtime viewer in LoadRunner.
No, runtime viewer is the replay settings. It is the recording. It is similar to recording settings.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. The true log part you are asking about, I think so. Is it?
No. This auto generate true logs. This is what is auto generate means, regeneration of the script.
No, not regeneration of the script. Okay, this once we record the script, okay, first we'll keep it checked.
One thing,
And
you will record one simple script with this option and without this option, then we'll see.
yeah. Then you would the difference would be more clearer to you. Yeah, exactly. And then comes this capture file page option where it needs to be checked. So we'll list down here in recording setting. Let's go to profile. So I'm noting down this because so these would be like minimum points where you can have a check on before recording and you can get started. Like you need not have to every time worry about all the other settings which are not even required and before for the recording. Okay. Then we need to select the record. Then under record we have script section wherein this general is important, general section is important, wherein we by default these checkboxes would be checked. So I'm just mentioning the settings which we would be like making the changes. Okay, so other would be other we have to keep the as default as it is. Okay. In protocol section, it will show like whether redirection and authentication needs to be covered in the web comments or not, and web sockets, synchronous or synchronous, database calls. So these are basically in this section. We need not have to change anything. We can keep it as default for web HTTP HTML protocol. So again, in Java section also we need not have to change anything. We'll keep it default in async detection as well. Basically, this comes into picture in the Ajax protocol. In simulation, so this part is completely disabled since it comes in the replay. So there you will see that this things has been enabled. So this is something which we configure during replay. So for now, we don't have anything to do here. In errors section, basically this is again plays an important role during a replay. I mean, if we here we can suppress the errors. Okay, so if there are like some errors which we don't want, I mean, though those could be 4xx or 5xx error, but those are known errors which we sometimes might need to suppress. So that part can be handled over in this section. Then we have results. In the results of the most of the things, these of this result section again, these would be enabled during the replay time only. Okay, for recording, there is no for recording. Just this two block section would be there. So we need to check the two block files.
Can we go to login? True log. What is true log? True log is for replay, right?
Yeah, this will be the true log file generation. So it is just showing.
Here we have the file name when we record a script. The extension is .bdf, but it is now showing .tlz.
See, .tlz is the true log. I mean, the recorded file extension, and BDF is the script extension. So, which is a benchmark description file, and this is see, this is TLZ means stands for true log zip, which if we unzip it, we will get the XLG file in it, .xlg file. Okay, so that is the file which is the recorded file. Okay.
Right.
Then in logging section, we don't have to do anything. In internet logging, just keep it default. Okay, it will show you the various options. In hook logging, it is basically not related to even to the recording part. Yeah. Within internet, again, no need to change anything for now. This would be enabled in during the replay. The emulation part, optimization, hosts would be the optimization would be in the replay part. Host, security, and recording. So this would be again we'll keep it default and won't make any changes in it. In the web protocol level, we have this browser section wherein you can select the browser. For during replay, if you want to replay from some proxy, so that you can specify over here. Again, the simulation part, so this will play a role in during the replay side. Authentication, if you have some authentication in your applications, then that can be specified over here. With respect to emulation, that will be again enabled during replay. Yeah, so this is again important part wherein you can select the API level. So this page level is basically it will generate for embedded resources. It won't generate any functions based on our page level. I mean, based on the actions which we perform, it will generate the functions. And whereas in low level, we would be able to see the function calls for each and every resource. Okay. And again, we have the third option over here, which is TCP/IP. So this is applicable for TCP/IP, wherein the TCP/IP protocol is followed. So here the header section is present. So if we want to record some header are present in the application, okay, and maybe a token section, okay, which is not getting, which is a dynamic part, okay, a token is passing into that part, and that if that we need to take care. Okay, and so instead of like adding the header to every request individually, we can add the header name over here, and that would reflect into our script. Okay, and later on we can simply request the dynamic part going into the header with the correlated value or the variable. Okay, then we have verification section, wherein during recording, if you want to add a title verification, you can check these checkboxes. For digest verification, you can have this checkboxes done. Transformation will not be enabled during recording. We'll keep it the default. So the important one is the recording section, wherein it gives us the facility to select the API level, the page level, and the low level. So I'll specify. So we need to ensure that against API level, we have selected this page level. And if you want to see the difference, how page level and low level like differs, we can change this option and regenerate the script, and we would be able to see the difference within the both scripts. Okay. And rest of the things, as I said, those would be kept default. And so these were the important sections of profile setting in for basically for Web HTTP HTML protocol. And for the rest is like these are not that related to the related to the web protocol which we would be doing during our recording. Okay. And with respect to the other protocols, if we have some Aura form based application, then Oracle forms, and this will come into picture for GUI based. This section will play an important role. And yeah, in case of Java application, you can specify the JVM, the bin folder path over here, and you need to specify the class path, and then if we have Java based application wherein if it doesn't have UI, or you need to invoke some exe file or something, then you can utilize this portion. Okay, so that was all regarding the recording settings. Any questions you have from this recording section part?
Once we do recording now, then I can have one. We'll check all the option one by one. Na? I have just listened.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
So Mahesh, can we take 5 to 10 minutes break?
Yeah, sure.
And I will come. We can connect after 10 minutes. Fine. Let me refresh. Anna?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
We'll start from here then. Anna? Yeah.
Yeah, we can start from here. Yes.
Hello, Harish.
Hello, Christian, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, Harish, we can start.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. Yeah, is it visible? Well, Christian, I think my screen is visible to you.
Yes, it is visible.
All right. Yeah, well. Uh, okay. So once we create a project after selecting a protocol and giving it a proper name, then what we do is we do the record time settings in a profile setting, and uh, then we click on this recording button, which opens the recording wizard for us. Uh, and here we have recording profile, where then we can select the various browsers. Okay, by default it will select Internet Explorer, but you can select other browsers present in your system. So we'll go ahead with the internet settings. So one more thing is, if we need to change or configure a new browser, so we can go to settings, and here we can add a new browser. Okay, first we need to add it in the system settings. So if we have configured it here, and then we just need to check it and check it, and it will be visible in this drop down menu. All right. So here we to go in little details. So here, if you click on add, so you would be able to give a profile name, the application path, I mean the exe path, the working directory. So they fill these mandatory setups, check on this web, and then just click on OK, and you would be able to add a new browser in this section. Or if we need to change, edit, or make any changes to the existing configuration of the browsers, then we can do it from by selecting that particular browser and selecting an edit option. Okay. So if you like want to add a new browser and need to know like where and which fields what we need to place, so we can get reference from any of the existing browser settings done here, and we can replicate to that into the when we add a new browser over there. Okay, so as you see, the protocol section web is checked, and here the application path and working directory, the Chrome exe file in the directory section. This path is mentioned where we have the Chrome application in our system. Okay, so we'll keep these settings. In the proxy section, here you would be able to see on which port self performer is listening to. So by default it's 8080, and here if we have any recording rules, then we can add the rules over here in this part. So all these options are available in the recorder section. Okay, so for now I'll cancel it. So I just wanted to show like how we can add a new browser, so that's why I shown this. I'll be cancel over here. And so those settings which we invoke from here, those can be also invoked. I'll cancel this. I'll show you. Those can be also invoked from here. And go to settings and system, and you would be able to see the same settings present over the same uh, settings pane from by going to the settings and system profile. Okay. So as and when required, I'll walk you through this these settings section as well. Uh, uh, After moving forward within the script, whenever it is required, its significance comes, I'll specify these settings as well. Okay. Yeah. So again, we'll click on model script. We'll select Internet Explorer as a browser. Then, so these are like here we can specify the URL, or we can just keep it as a blank. So the reason for not mentioning the URL over here is it will immediately invoke the URL. Okay. So and then once the script gets generated, so within the script we'll manually have to put the transaction name for that particular I mean, we need to enclose those into manually those number of URLs into the script. So for that matter, I generally follow to keep it blank and do not mention any URL over here. And these are like three different options with which we can invoke the recording. Okay, so we will go with the first option, like record using browser. Once I click on it, it will invoke the browser, and it will open the blank page, and we would be able to see this recording ribbon over here. So in this recording ribbon, in this section we will be able to see, okay, the browser during the recording. With this we can start application, then we can pause during the recording or stop. With this option you can stop the recording. With this it gives the facility to edit the recording settings. With this we can create a new transaction, or with this new timer session with this button. With start timer, again it has like two features as compared to LoadRunner. Like in LoadRunner, you can start the timer and then stop the existing timer, and then again you click on, you need to start the new timer. Just hold on, Krishna. I'll be back. I have to put in my laptop. Well, Krishna, I'm back. Yeah.
So what is the recording transaction? How we can put action? In LoadRunner we put transaction under actions, right? So action will be
Which one? I didn't get.
action when we go for a recording in LoadRunner, right? So once we gave the transaction name, that is fine. Then we define action also. Here, is there any action
Here,
also?
no, here, like by default, it will come into the main part. Okay. Uh, and I was telling you that for start timer and stop timer, it will, like, it has dual functionality. The one which is same as LoadRunner for starting the timer, and you can stop it and again start the new one. Or by just clicking over here, if you click on the new timer, so it will automatically stop the earlier one and it will create a new timer.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is for inserting comments. This is for inserting to log section. Then this is for going into the script if during script if the script has been generated. Then with this, see, you can see the events are increasing. So basically, although we have not started, I mean, enter the application URL and hit enter, but still it has captured some events. So those would be unwanted functions in the which are captured maybe due to which are not related to our application. So before recording, we can, if we see like even after just invoking the browser, we sometimes it happens that this events it starts increasing. This number starts increasing on its own.
Okay. Yeah.
So at that time, we can clear this option. With this option, we can clear the script. Okay. So I'll click it now. So it will ask us that do you really want to clear the recorded log and script data? So I'll say yes. Okay. And with this edit script setting, we can go to the recording part and edit the recording time settings. Okay. This is with this we can pin it to the I mean we can move it, or if we want to pin it at specific, we can pin it by this. So here it will show the status as the recording events. It is currently it is not showing any event. So before we put the transact timer name, what I'll do is I'll clear the cache cookies. Well, it has cleared the cache cookies. I'll again clear, and now I'll start first timer. So by default, it will give the timer name as tmain timer 1. Okay, and for all next timers, it will keep on incrementing the last number as 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So for now, I'll follow a convention where then I will give a transaction name like this, A101 underscore home page.
So here the transaction name is timer name, new timer.
Yes. The name, I mean, instead of transaction here in Silk, we call it as a timer. Okay. And again, if you compare it with Jmeter, in Jmeter timer is something which is related to think time. Okay. Well, so coming back to here, we will name this as A101 underscore home page and click on OK. Then we have kept the application URL handy with us. So we'll put that URL here and hit enter. So if you see, it is raising the events, but at the same time, let me tell you one thing: there's this number of events is not directly proportional to the number of functions generated in the script. Okay, so if you are able to see like 36, so it doesn't mean that 36 functions would be generated in the script. So now I have to click on join experience. So I'll by clicking this, by clicking this button, what it will do is it will stop the earlier timer and will start a new timer, and by default it will give its name, which we can change. So I'll rename it as join, and it's click on join. So before clicking on anything, you need to specify the timer name. I'll pin this so that it won't disappear. So now we'll go to the products. Or for this time, what I'll do is I'll simply go to search section, and we'll show you how search section will work, and we will cover that functionality in this particular flow. And in the letter section, I'll cover the product and the checkout part. All right. So this was, I guess, 4104. So by default here, the product name has turned up as shirt, so we'll keep it as it is. And before clicking on submit, I'll put new transaction timer. Okay. So instead of adding it to basket and proceeding with the checkout, we will go back to the menu and we'll stop our first scenario for here. And then in the second scenario, with this, this would be just a product viewing, and the second scenario will cover where we will actually buy the product. So we'll go back to menu. And from here itself, what we'll do is we'll stop it here itself, and for this flow. So I'll close the browser first, and then I'll stop the recording. All right, so that all the processes are closed properly, and we'll get all the functions recorded. And now I'll hit on stop recording. So for the last timer, we explicitly need not have to stop it from here. Okay, even if we stop the recording, the timer will be stopped automatically. Okay, so I'll click on stop. Once I click on stop, it will ask us to give the name for the script. So here for the first script, we will specify as a underscore will and then click on save. So here if you see, this is basically a .pdf extension. Okay, and this is the actual file extension. Okay, so this capture file page will open, since in profile settings we had checked the checkbox that after the recording, once the recording finishes, we need to render this page. So because of that, we are seeing this page. Otherwise, it will automatically generate the script. Okay. So here are like multiple options from which you can filter the traffic which you have captured, and you can filter if you see the request coming from some other domain which is not relevant to the application, then using domain filter settings. So here you can filter it. So for now, since we don't see any other application URLs part over here, so we'll go with the default option of no domain filtering. Like similarly, we'll have the other two parts as well. And here we can specify some, if any specific pattern, if we don't want to include, then that can be specified over here. Okay, and then I'll hit on generate script. So since this was a very short scenario with just few clicks, and this application wasn't even that heavy, so it immediately generates the script. Otherwise, for analyzing and creation, it takes some time. Sometimes, okay. Yeah. So this is how the script generation is done. So for the script understanding, so far we have covered till this point, where we have seen the profile settings, and we have seen the test application, and even recorded the script in page level mode. So the script structure and the rest of the part will look into the next session. Fine.
Yeah, fine.
So for today we covered right from I am reiterating what we completed or covered till now. Like we started with the Silk Performer history, and we saw its uh, like way how the software got evolved, and now it is driven by Micro Focus. Okay. We also saw the prerequisites required for installation and the system requirement. I told you, and there is no any dependencies required for this silk to present in the system. It's just that you have the proper system with you, and then the installation can be done easily. When we installed Silk Performer, I'll show you how we can get the trial version of Silk. Uh, and then we saw the different components of Silk Performer. So out of those various components, so these four components like Silk Performer Workbench, Toolog Explorer, Silk Performer Monitor Workbench, and Silk Performance Explorer. So those will be heavily used during the performance testing lifecycle. And of course, if we are using a license version, then the license server utility will also come into picture. Wherein if if we are using it, I mean, we can need to just use it for the first time when we are pointing to the license server. Then only it comes in picture, and then we show the tool overview of Silk Performer, the various components in it, and also the walkthrough of every component. Then I told you the help section, okay, wherein the offline help is available, where you can see for functions, for getting started, for installation wizard. So all of that part is present in the help section, which is available offline. And in fact, it also has the hyperlinks to the online resources. After that, yeah. After that, we covered the recording part of using Silk Performer, wherein okay, this part is I missed. So this I'll show you before we begin tomorrow. I mean with the next part. So this I'll cover first. Okay, how we can invoke the Silk Performer workbench from various options. So for your understanding, okay, if due to any reason, I mean, if the desktop icon is lost, then how you can invoke the Silk Performer workbench. So that I'll show you here. Then we create a new project. I have shown you the protocol support by Silk, the large variety of protocol support given by Silk Performer. then the naming convention followed during the project creation. Okay, so what is project name, what is script name, what is their extension, so that is covered under this section. Then we before recording, what profile setting needs to be done, or which can also be considered as a record time setting, so that we covered in profile settings, in which as I've mentioned here, like these two are the important ones, like unchecking think time and in script general section, and in web protocol uh, level, under recording part, selection of API level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And after
you,
that,
yeah. I think this recording session is saved with you, right? To tomorrow I'll get for today and tomorrow's these recording sessions.
yeah, sure.
Hmm.
You will get the recording sessions. I'll make sure you
Yeah,
will get.
save it, save it properly, right? Otherwise,
Yes, it. I'll save it, and you will get the recorded sessions. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Thank you.